Ken Ofori Atta today achieved another feat. Something good is happening to the guy after getting the severest battering from his own members of parliament, from general public, from economic hardships, from the free fall of the CD, etc., etc. It looks like Mr. Ofori Atta is coming round his own. This morning and this afternoon, we were told that organized labor was going to begin a strike action on the 27th of December. That's what we're told, isn't it? That's what we're told. Okay. So at the close of day, however, that strike is no longer going to happen. Why is it not going to happen? Let me take you to the touch screen. So this is a statement issued by the Ministry of Finance. It said the government of Ghana and organized labor associations shall, however, work together to explore mutual beneficial options within debt sustainability limits and to also promote macroeconomic stability and economic recovery in the spirit of social partnership. Now, Ofori Atta was speaking after government and organized labor had come to a conclusion on what to do with labor pensions. So the conversation is that labor organizations had been told that government was doing this suspending interest payments for 2023. That was captured in the budget, actually. Now, labor was concerned that their pensions should not be allowed to participate in the debt swap analysis. You know, government is swapping debt. That is to say, if government owes you, you go in and you take a new kind of debt. That arrangement will mean that in 2023, you don't get anything. That's what Mr. Ofori Atta proposed as a sustainable way for Ghana to be able to go through the current economic difficulties and secure an IMF program also for the future. Now, organized labor was concerned that their pensions should not be used. And so they said that if their pensions were to be part of this, then they will go on an indefinite strike action starting from 27. Let's see the statement. There's a statement. Can you please give me the statement quickly so we can read the statement? It's tiny. Okay, I'll read it anyway. All right. It says that following meetings held at the Ministry of Finance in December 2022, between Government of Ghana, represented by Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, Ministry of Finance and Ministry of National Security on the one hand, and organized labor associations represented by leadership of all labor unions and associations on the other hand, to resolve issues on the exemption of all pension funds in domestic debt exchange (DDE) program announced by government on 5th December 2022. Government has decided to grant exemption to all pensions in the DDE program, and 2, Government of Ghana and organized labor associations shall, however, work together to explore mutually beneficial options within debt sustainability limits and etc. etc. It's signed by Ignatius Bafo Ewa, Ken Ofori Atta, and Dr. Anthony Yao, who is the Secretary General Trade Unions Congress. So with this kind of resolution, what it means is that the organized labor will no longer put the strike out. And hopefully something good will happen. So I'd like to congratulate the government and labor for that. But you see, this is what happens. This is how, you know, governments work. And producer, if you can get me Alhaji Mahamadu Bawumia's photograph, let me put it out. Let me do an illustration with it. How does government work? Government works to achieve results. So when a government comes into power for 4 years or 8 years or 12 years or 16 years or whatever, when the government is talking about what it has achieved, we need to hear some innovation, some novelty. What is it that wasn't available that is now available? What kind of program model that was not available before the government was elected that is now available? That's a responsible government, I think. I mean, you can challenge it if you want, and you can send a text to challenge it. But this is my firm position that when a government has done something that didn't used to be, and what am I talking about? I'm talking about the announcement that the government of Ghana, through the Bank of Ghana, is able to buy 26 million ounces of gold from a gold producer for the purpose of gold for oil swap. This evening, Alhaji Mahamadu Bawumia, the Vice President, is announcing that at the end of January, Ghana government is going to take custody of the first consignment of petroleum products that we are buying with gold, or that we are securing. That's the better financial language. We are securing the oil products with gold. This was not there. This was not part of our conversation. We had never thought about this. Now, a government comes and is doing this. That's the government you elect. It's not a government that comes to repeat what somebody was doing. I've done road, hospital, road. No. That's fine. Citizens demand that. It is the right of citizens that you do a road. It is their right. It's inalienable, really, that you do a road. That you keep the citizens in, as the Bible says, the 3 basic things: food, shelter, and clothing. So that's okay. But when a government sees a crisis that our city is collapsing because we are we were looking for a lot of dollars with our cedi to buy petroleum products. Because whether you like it or not, every society, every community today in the world lives and breathes petroleum products. The electricity in your house is petroleum product. Even the water in your house is pumped by electricity. So that's petroleum. The light is petroleum. Your movement is petroleum. So we all rely on petroleum. So for a government that is looking after 30 million people, you have to be clear on how you get your petroleum products. If you become government and you find that you are in a circus, because every time the calendar year turns to a certain period, you are required to change your cedis to take dollars, and then your cedis crashing. Alhaji Mahamadu BAWUMIA thinks about this and says, can we do something else? What do we have? You remember that in the famous biblical story, God asked Moses, what do you have in your hand? And Moses said, I have a stick. That's all God needed. You have a stick? He said, put it on the ground. And Moses put it on the ground, and Moses started running away from the stick. And he said, hey, God, the stick has turned into a snake. He said, no, don't be afraid. Just hold it. It will become a stick again. So I'm sure, I wasn't there, but I'm sure he was, all of us. You can imagine yourself, you have a stick, and then you are talking to a God who you have met for the first time. And you're asking him, what is his name? And he's telling you his name is some name that you have never heard before. I am that I am that I am, something like that. Then you have confidence in him because he tells you about your life. And then he says, I am going to send you to release my people Israel. This is a story Moses had heard when he was growing up, that eventually the God of Israel, Jacob, Isaac, and Abraham, was going to send some Messiah to come and take them out of captivity. He had heard that story when he was growing up in the palace, that the Israelites believed, at the time he thought he was an Egyptian, he heard the story, that the Israelites believed that some God, and they used to laugh at that story. The palace people, the Egyptians, used to laugh at that story. Okay, let me not digress too long. I think I'm taking too long in bringing in Moses. But yes, so what do you have in your hand? He said, I have a stick. He said, put a stick on the ground. He put it on the ground, it became a stick, and he held it. And it became a stick again, and he said, God, who shall I do? He said, that is me with you. Because Moses told God that if you will not go to the palace with me, I will not go. He said, I shall be with you. How do I know you are with me? The stick. Okay, so Dr. BAWUMIA thought about, what do we have? We have gold, and we have so much gold that is becoming a threat to our own lives, because so many people around the world, so many Chinese people are looking for the gold, so they come into our country. We have porous borders, so they come into our country, they dig the gold, destroy our water, and all of that. And when we tell them that mine the gold responsibly, they don't listen to us. They just destroy it. And gold is money, so they're able to pay our officials, and then they get access to the gold, and they have access also to destroy the water. So Dr. BAWUMIA thought that this gold that is becoming almost like a negative to our livelihood, can we use it for something? He said, yes, let's do oil for gold. He sat his team together. You heard Osafo Mafo, by the way, 80 years old today, Nanaya Osafo Mafo, senior minister, happy birthday. I forgot to do a montage for him as I was rushing into the studio, but he celebrated today. He's celebrating also in his village, as officials have been told. So those of you can go to his village this weekend, I hear sometime. Osafo Mafo is 80 years, so he's older than the president. And we saw him the last time on television. He looked very well. Congratulations, Osafo Mafo. Okay, let me get back to Alhaji BAWUMIA's story. So Dr. BAWUMIA then finds out that this is gold. I can use it. I can use gold to do this, to help our currency. And today he has announced that two announcements. First of all, millions of ounces of gold has been bought by the Bank of Ghana from the gold market for the purpose of oil for gold. At the end of January, he's bringing in the first oil for the swap of gold. That's what you call government. Something that was not there, that is now there. Free SHS was not there. It is now there. The other people who are competing for presidency, they should tell us, what is it that was not there that they were able to make a part of our conversation after they left office? If they can find something, then we have a contest. But if you want to be leader, member of parliament for your constituency, and you are campaigning after you have been member of parliament for 4 years, you would have to tell the constituents something that was not there. That through your ingenuity, you have brought it. Through your thinking, you have brought it. Dr. BAWUMIA has a lot to say about that. Because when he was running for vice president, there was nothing like oil for gold, gold for oil, nothing like that. It was not there. He came into government, it was still not there. He was doing his government work, and then the crisis emerged. He confronted the crisis and said that I am in leadership position. Let me think. So he called people. 2 heads are always better than one, as I can say. So he called people, they discussed it, and they came up with a plan. At least they had a plan. Even if it's not workable, they had a plan. Some people come into government and they leave, and you ask them what did they do. They cannot tell you that I did something that was not there. They can't say it. They have just come into government like you sit in trotro from Labadi to Teshi, you sit down, you get down, and you go to your work. Every day, you sit down in trotro from Labadi to Teshi and get that, that's what they do in government. They come into the government bus, they sit down, at the end of the day, they are gone. That's it. So, as young people who are listening to me, when you are electing people, you need to be clear that you are electing people who, if they have a track record in government, they can show you something that was not there that I did. Maybe campaign time will come, we can talk about it. But congratulations to Alhaji Mahamadu BAWUMIA, and we wish him a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, isn't it? He's showing that the position of vice president is not just to be there, it is to create. And that's what he has done. And I like the responses I'm seeing on social media, even from people who are quite critical of the government these days. A+ and other people who are critical of the government are praising Dr. BAWUMIA for achieving this feat, because any normal person, every average person, anyone who loves Ghana will be excited by a policy that gives us sustainability as a country, because it's a policy that gives us sustainability. So we have a lot more to say about that. As I keep saying, it might be too early to do a full diagnostics of the economic situation and where we are, and all of that. But over the weekend, we're going to be looking at a lot of documents, and we're going to thoroughly understand, once they can release those documents, the gold for oil swap, what it really means. But for now, it is all glory to Alhaji Mahamadu BAWUMIA, the vice president who has achieved this. It's 3 minutes past the top of the hour, 10 o'clock.